Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am just doing a little bit of work in Roblox here. I've started another experience. I know we still have the climb adventure, but I've started another experience. I'm trying something a little different, and so I'm just gonna just sort of show it, and then go over. I did say I was going to do an update on the advertising, so this is kind of an update on the advertising while I'm just sort of playing around in studio at the same time. So yeah, so pretty much, this is just going to be a delivery game, okay? And you'll be able to deliver goods and stuff. You'll be able to have a far better property than the one that you get in Project Alpha. And this one's going to be a little different. So you'll start with money, and you'll have to take the money that you have and you'll have to buy resources from distribution hubs, and then you'll have to sell, quote unquote, sell those resources around the map, right? To restaurants, to businesses, to whatever. So that's why it's called Distribution Champions, because that's pretty much it, right? And so that's the basic concept. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have players. You'll be able to buy the distribution hubs. So when a player goes there to purchase goods to sell, you will get all the profit, or you'll get all the money. So instead of the money just going into like La La Land, right? If a player spends it into the game, it just disappears. Instead of it just disappearing, it'll go into the player's, directly into the player's bank account. And I thought that was pretty cool. So you kind of have to work your way up, and that gives an extra element to the game. So what I've noticed, going over the metrics, is that the average play time seems to be really, really good. So it tells me that when players join the experience, there's lots to do, or there's lots to explore, and the players are eager to explore. And see, that's all I got. That's all I got for now. So I gotta continue on that, right? The players are eager to explore, and they have no issues exploring, and there's enough there to keep them going. But what isn't there is the replay value. There's no replay value whatsoever. And what I mean is that, so when I advertise the game, I'll get a lot of visits. For example, over 1 million people have been shown in advertisement for my various games, and of that, only 1,000 people have played one or any of the games so far that I've produced. So very small amount. And whatever, and that's fine, because I mean, obviously they're not superstar games, you know, so that's actually pretty good. For me, that's pretty good, I would think. So what I'm getting at is that, so that 1%, is probably 1.01%, is probably what that is. They don't, when the games, so people will, like, they can favorite the game, or when they visit the game, when you go to the Roblox website, it'll say continue. People don't actually come back. Some of them do. We do get some return players. I don't mean that as like, oh, I'm so sad they don't come back. I just mean that as a creator, you have to think about that. Well, why aren't they coming back to the experience, right? So what it tells me is that the initial playthrough is good, and the initial impression is good. People enjoy it because they're willing to spend, some cases, up to an hour in the game exploring the experience, which is fantastic, right? But they're not coming back. So what it tells me is that I need to add more. There needs to be more. There needs to be more replay. Now, Project Alpha was good. You could join. There's 3 or 4 missions you can do. They're on like a 5-minute timer. You know, every 5 minutes you can do them, and you can go around the map. And that's pretty much it, right? You can rent a bay there that you can use when it wants to work. You know, and maybe you could spawn a few things in there, but like that's it, right? So that's sort of the limits that I set on that game, and now I'm starting to realize that we want to expand on that, right? So you want to start to give the player more baby steps, right? That was step number 1. This is step number 2. We're trying to expand on that and give the player more. I think I've said that about 10 times now. You got to give the player more, and I think that's going to be the name of this video. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is that what you need to The experiences are immersive enough that people are willing to spend the time in there, but they're not immersive enough that they want to come back. So we can allow the player to purchase property, which is what I'm thinking about doing. You'll be able to purchase. I think I did made one of these already. Was this one here? Just went into that one, right? Was this one? I don't know. I finished one of these. Oh no. I have no idea where it is. Maybe it's this one here. No, it's not. Oh no. Did I not save it? Oh, brutal. Alright, so I finished the inside of one of these. But I think we need to give the player more to do. So, for example, more accessories to buy, more ways to make money, more missions, more fun things. So I kind of like trying to develop this concept where like you have the classic shooter games, and people say like, why are shooter games so? What makes them so intense? And you're playing against other human beings, and they're unpredictable. And that's what, in my opinion, makes those games fun. Because you're chasing after something that's unpredictable. So every time you chase it, you get a different experience every single time. And with the hard part about developing games is you give a person an experience. Here's the experience. Here's the ride. And they either like it or they don't. Hey, that's reality, right? You have to be able to get over that. So you can figure out, well, if they don't like it, you have to be able to get over that and move on. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to adapt and change your experience and make it better, improve on it, right? So that's where we're looking at. So I mean, I could go over the, I don't know if I did. I could go over the stats here. Let's see. Go here. And I'll just go view analytics. Yeah, see? So, because I advertised this game over 2 days, and it actually got quite a few, if we look at retention, where is it here? Or engagement even. Retention's different. That's players who played on the first day, and then they came back 3 days later or 7 days later. It's really weird how they measure those statistics, but I guess it kind of makes sense, right? So the expectation is that someone is going to join your experience, and then they may not join it again for another week, perhaps. So that's kind of how they, in that time they're playing other games or whatever, But yeah, so when you look at these statistics, okay, daily active users. Now these aren't accurate anymore. They've all fallen off. Acquisition, right? Sponsored ads. Look at that. So that's our curve, right? And then now I'm not advertising anymore. It's the 20th today, so we'll get new stats. But these stats are rolling off. Then you get your audience. And you can say, well, how do you know that the stats are rolling off? Well, if we go to back to the page and you click on your experience, if you have like a welcome badge, okay, every time someone joins the game, it'll give you a number. Hey, congratulations, you joined the game. And for me, every day it's either 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Mountain time, the server updates and your statistics from yesterday get posted. And then it starts to record your statistics for the next day. It's a little bit strange. The hours are a little bit strange. I don't quite understand it, but that's how it is. It's probably like 12 or 1 p.m. Pacific. Right? And that's how you can track whether people are joining your game or not. Now, this has been 0 for 2 days. So that's how I know when I look at these statistics. They're still rolling off, and I'll have to wait another 3 or 4 days before I get the, okay, and so why is that important? Well, I'm not advertising the game, so nobody can find it, right? And the players, of those 250 people that played, okay, none of them are coming back. Not a single player is coming back, right? So, and why? Now, the game isn't finished, so that could be there could be many factors, right? I don't want to go into that because, to me, the factors don't really matter, right? What matters is trying to determine how to get them to want to come back to the game, right? And that's where we're at. So don't think that the first game you build is going to be the game that everybody's going to want to play, because chances are it might not be. Sometimes it is, but if you talk to a lot of people, it's you find a way to build and design, and then you may have to build and design several times before you start to develop a metric that works, a metric that is able to draw people's attention and is able to draw them into your experience. That's part of development, and that's just the way it goes. So again, I don't want to look at this and right. So we go to our sponsored experience and we look at our ads manager, and I just don't want people to be discouraged by that and say, look, 1.3 million people saw these ads, and only 1,200 actually, only 3,700 were interested in this type of experience. And of that, about 50% of them decided, hey, maybe I'll play it. So, I mean, what that also tells you, that tells you your target of the games that are out there for the platform. This gives you a clear indication of the core target, and it's not very large. So now what you need to do is you need to look at the other experiences that are in the 90 plus percentile that have all the plays, have all the metrics, have everything. And you have to sort of look to those and you have to say, okay, well, what is it about those games that are so interesting that keep players coming back and coming back and coming back? For me, one of the big ones, as I was getting at here with this long-winded speech, is you need to have that replay value. So when it comes to cops and robbers, you have that, I'm chasing another person, they're unpredictable, who knows what they're going to do. And that's the fun behind it. You have a plan, and as you're executing your plan, they have their own plan and they're executing it, and it gives you that unique playthrough every single time. And I think when you look at these top games, that is what puts them in that metric. So when it comes to transport games, us guys here, there aren't very many. There's a lot of kids that really like it, but there isn't that much. We need to throw that into the game. So you can have a really good looking map, and you can have a few elements that are engaging, but you really need to go over the top, and you really need to add that extra little bit. What makes emergency games so popular is it's that mission. Hey, I get to go to the fire station or the police station. Then the mission goes, I get to drive a cool vehicle. It's got all these features. It's a different location. Transportation is a little different. It's A to B. It's not, So we have to find a way to sort of spice up the game, and that's developing, right? So I just want to kind of throw that out there. I don't want people to don't get discouraged. All you're doing is getting better. Every time you develop something and you put it out there and you allow other people to critique it, what you're doing is you're making yourself better, because you're allowing people to tell you what you should improve on and what you don't really necessarily need to be improving on. And I mean, so yeah, so I hope with that, people that are following the channel and are kind of curious and they're watching my development, because I haven't been putting out a lot of videos about just making maps and putting code to it and then just throwing it out there and saying, hey, what do people think about this? What do people think about that? And that is kind of developing. And the goal, obviously, is to improve. And you may have to make 100 maps. You may have to make only 10 maps. But then you might need to make 100 vehicles or 200 vehicles before you're able to make the vehicle that fits with the metrics that you desire. I know it's very broad, it's a very broad statement, but that's probably the easiest way to break it down. Yeah, that's the easiest way to break it down. So develop it and put it out there. Take $20 like I was doing, advertise your game for a few days, see what the community thinks. If they enjoy it, then improve on it, advertise it again. And just keep doing that, and you'll see people will enjoy it, and people will keep coming back if you can give them that type of engaging experience. So yes, I just kind of wanted to throw this out there. Wanted to wish everybody a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. I might put out one more video here between now and then, but Christmas is right around the corner, and there's lots going on. I'm sure everybody's busy. So I just wanted to say that Merry Christmas, and just keep developing, and you'll make it no matter what. So enjoy yourselves. Merry Christmas.